TNC's draft again. Their push is not as great. They do last pick that Ember Spirit as well. Great response to TA, and it works well with Magnus Ogre Magi. But you know, you've got this lineup that can maybe not push as fast as we saw in game 1, but it does come online very fast. Once Armel hits 6, he's going to be active on the map. Once we see, I believe that is Gabby Nightstalker, once he hits his level 6 and maybe his Ags up, he's going to be very aggressive early on. I'm curious to see whether or not he goes for the right-click build. That is something I've seen mainly Filipino teams fall back to before. Would be interesting to see that come back here. Something like a Basher on would be kind of hilarious, actually, because he can just really stun lock someone with the added attack speed from Bloodlust from March. But you've got this lineup that just comes online, I'd say, minute 15, without needing too much gold. And they can really start taking these team fights. Unknown, they've got some pretty nice power spikes at the 15-minute mark as well. The issue is you need a Blink on Greedy. You're going to need a couple of items on the Gyrocopter. You're going to need a Blink Dezo on Atun. And I have no idea what you really expect from Widge playing this Death Prophet. Like, there is value to support DP. We've seen that before. But that's a support that needs to rush that level 6 fast. And then once that 6 is up, you need to play around the DP like a core.
It is very strange. I can't say I've had the pleasure of seeing a position 4 DP very often. It has also been a very long time since we've had the pleasure of seeing a position 3 Magnus come out from KP as well, but that's much more understandable than the support DP, that's for sure. Still, we'll see what Unknown's up to. It does seem like a very interesting draft. But they've got to ensure they win out these lanes. I mean, that's going to be extremely important for Unknown going into this game number 2. TNC, if they win the lanes, it seems like it may just be another big snowball coming up from their end, and they probably would be able to finish this game early as they did last. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's see Unknown put up a pretty good fight. See if they can push to a game number 3. We'll get into it. Kind of curious, does Dota Plus say anything quite yet? They're giving TNC a 51% chance to win before the game even starts. So there's a 1% chance advantage. Apparently, Dota Plus believes the drafts are fairly even.
I mean, that's fair enough, right? You could still make Unknown's draft work out on paper if they do hit their timings and get the gold. It's going to be very hard to face off against them in a team fight. You have the Sand King, you have the Will-O-Wisp from Prada, you have the Death Prophet Exorcism coming out, you have all these factors to be aware of. You have the Gyrocopter flat cannoning everyone. It can be messy. The issue is it's going to take some time for Unknown's draft to reach that point. And the biggest question is, will TNC give them that time? I really don't see it likely for them to delay the game that long.
To showtime.
See? Bit of all chat spam coming out, and March will throw out a pause. Looks like KP was having some connection issues going on. TNC are setting up for that bot boundary rune, so there is maybe going to be a bit of a scuttle, which we'll have to be very careful on that DPP does attempt it. KP's lane on the Magnus doesn't look like it's going to be a very easy one. Like, you're up against Prada on that Coddle, you're up against Burner on that Gyrocopter, and that is not the most fun lane to play against. And, I mean, I'm sure they'll rotate the Ogre up top, or even the Lina for that matter, but it's still not going to be the best lane in the world for KP, so I imagine his timings may be a bit slower than you'd expect.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue for TNC in this draft. The off-lane Magnus. I mean, it is a thing. It is something that used to be run. The key thing is that it's not the easiest thing to run. Even when it was very popular, really relied a lot on jungle farming. So KP is gonna probably dip into that jungle very early on just to get his own farm going. The issue is that does give Burna a lot of space to get his farm up. Like, you're not going to be applying too much pressure on the Gyrocopter. Even with a nice dual lane, I'd say he'd probably prefer the Ogre so he can tank through the damage and just apply his own. It's still a bit it's still a bit of a question, right? And you have to factor in that TNC is facing some connection issues as well. So if that actually does hold up, or if it just intermittently pops in, could be a bit rough here for KP.
Could be. We'll see. KP has reconnected now.
Prepare for a lesson. A flash of inspiration.
Ready to go. We'll get started again.
We're back.
Greedy and we're just going to try and go for that Bob Bunny, but again, there are 3 heroes around the area ready to fight. March and Tim will both show themselves. March will go for the stun into the LSA of Tim's on the leader, and it looks like that may just be Burst Blood, which is suiciding though. March, secondary Fire Blast coming up. LSA is a bit far, and it looks like it will not connect. Burst was there from Greedy just in case. Which he'll be alright, he'll have to expend his salve very early on, but at the very least he does survive.
Yeah, they do survive. They do get 3 bounty runes on the side of Unknown as well, so they've got a nice little gold advantage going for themselves. I'm sure the mid lane, Atun, is going to be very happy with that early start.
Those Eye Blades already being frustrating towards Armel on that Ember. Thing is, as Armel gets those levels up, this lane should get harder and harder for the TA, but we'll see how well he can control these Side Blades and dish out the harassment towards Armel. It is going to be extremely important, it feels, for them to shut down Armel as best as possible going into this laning phase. As I say though, Wish bot lane getting jumped on once again. March doesn't have the Fire Blast available. They have LSA and they'll throw it out a bit early. They had 1 second for the Fire Blast, they didn't want to wait, and now Tim's going to be chased out by Greedy. They'll throw out the Fire Blast into the LSA onto the Sand King instead. And I suppose at the very least it is allowing Gabby to just free from the bot lane.
That's the big thing here that TNC really wants to maintain. It does look like they are prioritizing Gabby's early farm, not even EXP, because the supports are kind of soaking that creep EXP as well. This trialing is going to be starving March and Tim of their own level progressions, but it does secure you a good start with Gabby. AP up top is going to have a bit of a rough time with the 2 supports down here. But it does look like, again, they are depending on Gabby getting that good start. Maybe they have enough confidence in KP getting his work done. He is level 3, so he is actually managing to work out this top lane quite well anyway.
Yeah, he's going for the max power as well, so definitely has the potential to get those CS off, and he's doing a pretty darn good job of it. Surprisingly, you haven't really seen the Coddle shutting him down too much with the Blinding Light. Rather, he has been focusing on pulling the waves. Meanwhile, Wish again being chased down. Dragon Slave will not connect. And now they'll turn around onto March on that Ogre. And that should be first blood. But no, the stick charges. It will not be enough. Greedy will find it. But now the Dragon Slave, no, Wish. He'll survive again. He fairy fires up through the damage. They almost find a trade onto that DP, but not quite, and the first blood once again will go to the side of Unknown.
It does seem like a bit of a similar story to Game 1, just how the lanes are working out, how the aggression's working out so far. I mean, you take a look at that mid for Armel up against Atun, it's kind of the same story as well. Like, Armel is slowly building up a lead here, Atun is starting to fall behind a bit. It just gets harder and harder as the levels build up. You're not maintaining your refraction charges, and you get rooted up like that. That's just a lot of damage on Atun.
Yep, double damage being procced by Armel. Looks like he wants to go for something Atun, being a bit risky with this. Of course, it's only a level 1 Sleight of Fist, so the cooldown is quite long. But he has no regen, he only has a friendly fire available, so he'll have to run back a bit, get to that courier, salve yourself up. But this lane is not going to get any easier for this TA, and I mean, it doesn't look like anyone from the side of Unknown is going to be coming in to help out either.
It's rough. They don't really have the space to do it. Again, just like in Game 1, the supports are tied up in the side lanes. Not much you can really expect from rotations. Just trying to win your lanes independently seems to be the name of the game.
Look back over to that mid lane. I mean, he's already lost 3/4 of his HP on the TA. That's just a Flame Guard into a slide on chains. So now suddenly that salve you brought out has essentially been used up and wasted. Still though, at the very least he does remain alive and in the mid lane, though I can't say the same for Wish bot lane, who is again being chased down by March and Tims. They are not allowing this DP to get anywhere near their Night Stalker as Gabby now get Burrow Striked up, but Greedy's going to be in trouble. LSA does land March, has a sentry and will drop it underneath the Sandstorm. They want to get that Fire Blast off, but LSA will also do the job. March will have the follow-up stun, but Greedy is still alive and goes for the Burrow Strike and TP on the high ground, and he will manage to get back towards his fountain. The thing is, and I'd hate to repeat myself for the 10th time, John, but Gabby is still free farming on the Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure in that bot lane. Not only do you have a free farming Night Stalker, but you have to remember, we mentioned Widge on this support DP. He needs to hit his level 6 at a good time. With how much he's been shoved to the back of the lane, he's stuck at level 2. Sure, the supports from TNC are stuck at that same point as well. It's
18 now. Being chased down top lane. Should be a nice pickup here for Burner on that Gyrocopter, though KP is making him waste a hell of a lot of time. Now, he doesn't have mana for the TP. Burner will find him, but KP's still dragging this out. In fact, he's just going to keep running around in circles. Burner, he needs one more right click, but KP, he will not give it to him. He still doesn't have the mana to TP away, and it looks like he will end up going down in the end. But that was a hell of a lot of time wasted. And I'm not sure if you really mind that if you're KP. I mean, while he was chasing that Magnus, you see that Ember Spirit overtake the Gyrocopter in terms of last hit, so it was a fair bit of time wasted.
It definitely was. That was at least a wave missed out in terms of farm. You get a lot going for yourself there. A really good distraction coming out from KP. He did need a reset anyway, so manages to get something from that exchange. Goes back in lane, full HP, full bottle up. Can apply that harass once more. He's not going to be too worried about what happens or trading with a support in this case. He's having a good time in the soft lane, much better than I'd expect. You expect a bit more presence from Prada, but he's just been stacking up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gabby, I mean, nighttime hits, he just chases down Greedy by himself and gets the kill on the Sand King. Both the supports have disappeared. Looks like March will return on the Ogre, but Greedy, this could be dangerous for him. TP's back to the tier 1. Gabby says thank you very much. He'll just keep chasing once again. March will be there with the Fire Blast soon, but won't be able to get in range. But now with Bloodlust on Gabby, he can really close the gap between himself and the Sank quite quickly. Unfortunately for Greedy, there's just nothing he can do about this. He's stuck at level 3 as the Sand King. Gabby is level 6, and he was running a tri-lane.
Yeah, it's down to that pressure coming out from TNC. The main thing wasn't, I mean, you got good farm in Gabby, that's one thing. You also deny a lot of EXP from Unknown. As you mentioned, Greedy's stuck at level 3, Widge is level 3 on a support DP. You want to be able to hit that 6 fast for your ultimates, and it's just not happening. You lost your tier 1 down bot as well.
If they could find a kill to Gabby, it'd be amazing. Gabby just outruns them. Now Unknown comes in on the Ember as well. They're straight onto Widge, but they have Burner there to support on the Gyro. It doesn't matter though. Widge will go down on the DP, and now Burner's going to be chased down. Gabby, he'll get started with the Void. Burner, he'll stride up and throw the cooldown out. He's trying his best to fight, but there's no TPs coming in. And that's going to mean he's probably just going down, and does. The TP from Widge does come out eventually, but Gabby, that's free food for him.
Oh my god.
He's going to go back in. I'm surprised he doesn't cancel it off.
Oh man. It almost looked like March was just blocking Gabby from that kill.
I think he will.
They find it in the end, and you know, it's 4-2. It's a 3k lead at 8 minutes in. We're not even out of the laning phase fully. We're not past the first 10 minutes yet, and it's a substantial lead for TNC. Things are looking a bit rough for Unknown once again.
I mean, you've left KP up at the top lane as well now. I mean, he's up against Prada, but that's really no concern for the Magnus. Where's our Gyro gone? Oh no, he's forced to run back towards that top lane as he did have to TP down to the bot lane to try and help out. Being forced to make these rotations early, but it has meant that he sacrificed a lot of farm on that Gyro. Speaking of farm, looking back at Gabby, he is currently 1.2k ahead, and it looks like he's gonna find Greedy on the Sand King once again as well, as Greedy does Burrow Strike away. He's still level 5, Gabby's level 7, there's the Void coming out as well, and Greedy just has no, he just stands there, he knows.
Oh man. Oh
Real
man,
men
that's
don't
just...
run, John. They just stand there and take it.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's literally nothing you can do at this point. When Gabby decides to find someone with this kind of level deficit, with this kind of gold deficit, you can't. You just can't. You can't even rotate your supports in. You're just dead. And this is just gonna get worse as Gabby builds up towards that Ags. Then you have so much more coming out from him, so much more damage, so much more durability. He can dive much deeper. He can push that envelope even harder, and you just don't have a response just yet from him on.
Now they'll go on to that T1 mid tower, and it really is seemingly a repeat of game number 1. KP falling low top lane, although he'll just time it perfectly. He'll find a bounty rune, and he'll go find another. Meanwhile, mid lane, they end up losing Witch on the DP, and it looks like Atun did end up finding March on the Ogre, but now he's going to get the cost of his own line. Greedy is there though, and there's a much left on Gabby, but the dust comes out. Greedy going to be the target they go for instead, and so he will sacrifice himself for the sake of the TA to get out. But it's going to be a 7-3, 5k net worth lead for the side of TNC, 10.5 minutes in, and there's just no end in sight.
The only positive for Unknown right now is the fact that Atun is getting pretty good farm in terms of last. I mean, he's not too far behind from the Ember considering how rough that lane is. He has a lot to work towards. Once he finishes his Desolator, and then once he has that Blink, perhaps you can get pickoffs on the supports to start building up. You really have to hit that farm timing though. You've got to get that Deso up, you've got to get that Blink up. You have to do this while sharing farm with a Gyrocopter in the jungle, sharing farm with a Sand King. I'm not sure if there's enough space for everyone here to get big.
Top lane, March. You get to warding. Get that die jungle. Take control and ensure that Gyro cannot farm. Burner desperately trying his best to catch up. It's currently the 4th place spot in the net worth graph. Have a quick look at that win probability, and yep, 82% the way of TNC now. Unknown certainly have a chance to push back, and that may be up at the top lane as Witch will rotate in as well on the DP. Doesn't have level 6 yet, but he does have it very, very soon. Still, you are up against the level 9 Magnus, so you've got to be very, very careful. Greedy will rotate on the Sand King as well. But you will not find anybody. I mean, that's a full 5-man rotation here from Unknown up at the top lane. They find no kills for themselves. But at least they're going to be able to force in that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, you finally have that level 6 coming out from Widge. They do try to clear a tower out. They should be able to take this one at the very least, although the TPs are still coming out from TNC.
They certainly are. Armel, that's a lot of damage on Widge, and I think it's going to back off. Armel, he can just jump in with that level 1 chains, and he does find the Sand King once again, but Greedy going to try and outrun them. Gabby now though, popping the Knight, and it looks like he wants Burner on that Gyrocopter, and it's going to be a very easy pick off at that, although Will-O-Wisp has been dropped, but there's the Remnant back into Prada. There is a double damage there on Armel as well. We're just trying to fight, but it's so much damage from Armel, as they will find one. I'm just waiting for the next line of Fist to be available. It looks like he may not even need that. In fact, he does just use it. They're going to find Greedy as well on the Sand King. He goes down. Burner's still being paced as well. The shockwave does connect from KB, and Burner has nowhere to go. And it looks like Gabby will be the one to pick it up once again. It's going to be a 4-man wipe going into this 13-minute mark. The only person to survive that was Atun, who wasn't even there on the TA.
I mean, it's 11-3 at 13 minutes in. 7k net worth lead now for TNC. This is... I don't know what to say. This is rougher than game 1 for the most part. You are getting a bit more on Atun, but that's all of your eggs in one basket. That's all for riding on the TA. I'm not sure if you have enough follow-up to really maximize this anyway. Like, you're playing into an Ember Spirit who burns right through your defense. You rush offensive items first. Can you really find the pickoffs you need to snowball here?
That's a very good question.
Dire's top
So
tower is under
Prada
attack.
used the mana leak onto Gabby, but now he's going to be surrounded. Void will be there. KP does have Skewer available. He does have help coming in. They could punish here, I know, but they're going to lose Prada in the process. Prada doesn't have the Will of Whisper, no. They will back off now. KP doesn't want to borrow this, though. Armel is there and does find Prada now straight onto Wish. The DP being chained up. Still they go after the Magnus, but he has RP available. He just needs the mana. It won't even matter, though. So I'm going to go down as well.
Oh, man.
And Burner, you need to fly the hell out of there, sir. It is not a good time to be around your own jungle. Armel is going to find him, although Rocket Barrage does still do a hell of a lot of damage, but Armel may just control him up. By the way, John, you got your wish. There's a Deso on Armel, so you got the Deso into the Empower. He is going for the physical build on this episode.
That's exactly what you want to see in this case. I mean, you have all the buffs in the world, why not go for it? The magic damage would be nice in this case, because again, they have no way of mitigating that either, but you've got so much more going for you physically. It makes sense. You don't need to worry about any sort of BKB timing coming out. Just have all the power in the world, no matter what. And we are kind of maybe seeing the same thing here on Gabby. I mean, he has a Moon Shard queued up, so at some point, I guess he's going to go for the right clicks as well.
Why not? Why the hell not? It's like he will get started with the Blink Dagger first, though. Just to have that initiation, he does pick it up. Oh, KP. Still has RP, but just doesn't have the mana at the moment. He'll have his Arcane Boots up in the second. They're part of just ensuring he is continually losing mana, but now they may choose to turn around as Armel again gonna punish. That is a hell of a lot of damage coming up from just the right clicks, and now Gabby jumps in with the silence as well. They found the Sand King. Well, while he tries to get away, it will not matter. Armel does find the kill on the Ember Spirit. And now a tier 2 tower may be in order for the side of TNC.
Tower is under attack.
You have to consider this as well. TNC, they're playing against a DP. We're at 16 minutes in. They have not lost even a single tier 1. Like, the push is not even coming out right now from Unknown, and that is costing them map control as we saw in game 1. It is happening here again. They've got to find a way to take control back here. Otherwise, they're just kind of starving out. You have the Desolator up on Atun. It's not quite enough. He needs a little bit more. He needs that Blink. He needs the BKB. Beyond that, this just allows him to farm a bit faster now.
Certainly does. And, I mean, the other thing it does is it allows you to take a quick Roshan, but the only problem is TNC's taking it right now. Or rather, just Armel, but the rest of TNC will run into the Roshan pit.
Tower's about to be Radiant's top rubble.
And even if Unknown are aware of this, and they should be, because there are plenty of wards scouting them out, I don't believe they may make it in time. They've smoked up, though. They're going to try.
Does that even work?
Roshan, again, going to be very, very low. They're going to burrow strike in straight onto KP. Get rid of that Magnus, but he is so darn tanky. Roshan's gone. It is all too late, and Wish is just going to melt through that Exorcism. Prada goes down as well. Now the boss greedy on the Sand King, and more is to come as they are chasing a Tun. He will at least meld up. Do they have a dust? Does it even matter? They seem to know where he is. They find him with the sentry, and there's the GG call.
Oh.
17 minutes in. So, both games don't even take 40 minutes total for TNC. They finished this BO3 in less than 40 minutes. You know, props to Unknown, they gave it their best. They were versing the hardest team in their groups, and it was a bit of an unfortunate match for them to have to go up against TNC so early on.